What happens when a group of lifelong besties trades middle school crushes for midlife hot flashes? You get a lot of laughs, a little bit of venting, and a whole lot of heart. We've survived cross-country moves, career shifts, and changing gene sizes together. Now we're tackling the invisible years, from the frustration of medical mysteries to the joy of deep-rooted sisterhood. We're here to brainstorm, de-stress, and remind you that you aren't going through this alone. Because at the end of the day, we're more than just a support group. We are friends, period.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friends, Period, our podcast about all things midlife. Hopefully you've met us before because this is episode 5, which is really hard to believe, but you've joined a group of friends and we want you to feel like one of us for the next 30 minutes or so. So we're here to talk about anything and everything that comes up, and with the 4 other amazing ladies in this group tonight, you never know. So again, I'm Colleen. I live out in Western Mass with my husband, my adult kids, and some really great pets, which reminds me, we have to talk about beagles a little bit because I'm obsessed with that story currently in the news. The last time we talked about birds, tonight we have to talk about beagles for like 3 seconds and I can get it out of my system. So welcome, and Erin, bring us around.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erin, and I don't know the beagle reference. I don't think so. I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I'm intrigued, Colleen.
Mhm.
I'm intrigued. Lisa, do you know the
Agreed.
beagles?
I am Lisa, and I'm in a place where I'm watching everybody walk their dogs, and I love hearing stories about dogs. So, not sure what you're going to talk about, but I'm ready for it.
Hi, I'm Tara. I also do not know the beagle story, so I'm extremely intrigued. So I think we need to start with that today.
And I'm Megan, and just trying to rack my brain if I know of any beagle stories. Made me think about Punch the Monkey. Do you guys all know Punch the Monkey? I'm not trying to change the subject. Okay,
No,
we'll have to
now
talk
we're
about that
talking
at some
dogs
point.
and
Okay.
monkeys. Let's go.
Well, on that note, I guess we're ready to go. And the beagle story really has very little to do with anything that we usually talk about, but it's just been my obsession this week. So basically, the idea is, well, maybe it is somewhat related because we talk about a lot of beauty products and things like that. So in a very loose way, maybe it's somehow related. So there was this lab breeding company, or I guess it's just a dog breeding company for profit in Wisconsin called Ridgeland, that was basically raided by an activist group, and it has been in progress for a very long time. And the activists last week actually got themselves arrested and tear gassed, and it was this whole thing. But basically, there's a celebrity involved too. But basically, they negotiated a very high price tag for the release of 1,500 beagles. And I think the end game is that this breeder is going to be shut down because there were a lot of infractions. These dogs were not treated well. And I've become obsessed with it. And I now want to own 11 beagles, but I won't. I'll let other people adopt the beagles. But they're being distributed around the U.S. To adoption agencies and rescue leagues, and but anyway, if you look up the story on Facebook, you'll find way too many stories about it, and then you will also be inundated by the beagle story over the next week, and you'll learn all about it. But I'm definitely,
and then you'll have beagles in your algorithm.
Beagles. But it's been a huge
Mhm.
story, and the guy who actually organized the raid last week he was arrested, and he is going to be tried, and he faces up to 12 years in prison. But I don't think he's going to get that because that it all turned around, and I think the legal system will be on his side eventually. Kind of a really crazy story. But anyway, this breeder was selling it to labs to do testing on who knows what, probably some of these products that we talk about, who knows, but it maybe makes us think about the products that we do consider using in a different way and researching them. I mean, I'll certainly think about it. I know it's been a thing forever, the testing on animals thing, but honestly, when I look at new products, I don't necessarily look at that anymore, and maybe I should.
Well, I feel like in 2026, my assumption is that we're not testing on animals anymore, but apparently I'm wrong. And yeah, I have to be a little bit more diligent in doing my research.
I'm with you. Yeah. So last week we
I
talked
think
about
there's
birds.
definitely yeah,
No,
we did.
last week was birds and this
We
week is
did.
dogs. So maybe every week we need to find some animal related story. I don't know.
An episode
There was
spirit
some kind
animal.
of a yeah.
Yes.
Well, there was some
Our
kind of a
mascot.
raptor or something that was outside my window tonight, and I felt like it. I walked up my stairs upstairs, and there's a window right at the top, and I could hear this thing. It sounded like Jurassic Park raptor, but bird, like a bird like form, right? And as soon as I got to the top of the stairs and looked out, it stopped, and I was like,
Huh.
what was that, right? And then so I waited a second, and then I was like, okay, I guess it's gone. And the second I started moving, it started again, and then I stopped, and it stopped, and I was like, this thing is stalking me. What is this? And I did not have my bird
Your
app,
app.
so I didn't
I
have
was
my.
just gonna ask
I couldn't look it up.
But you just decided it was a raptor, so you already made that call.
I
Even
did.
without the app.
Or pterodactyl
so
or
I'm
something. Yeah.
very sorry for taking us so off track, but now we visited dogs and birds again, which is awesome. Or pterodactyls, we don't know which.
But wait
Tara,
a minute, Megan brought up
you had a
Punch the
story.
Monkey.
Oh wait, we didn't get to the monkeys.
Oh yeah. So it was a story that was in the news, probably over, I don't know, probably started like maybe a month ago. There's a zoo in Japan, and there was this little monkey. I'm not going to remember what kind of monkey it was, that was abandoned by his mom, and then he was getting picked on and bullied by all of the adults. So the caretakers were, trying not to intervene, but at the same time trying to, just help the little guy out. And they gave him a stuffed monkey that he cuddles and drags around. He's just absolutely adorable. But things were turning around. There were eventually some of the adults were coming around, and they were kind of like stepping in as mother figures, and he was finding some playmates. But just absolutely adorable and kind of heartbreaking at the same time.
Well, maybe I'll look that up to get some, variety in my feed from the beagles.
But Megan, where does the punching come into it?
That's just his name.
Punch?
That's his name. Oh. Yeah.
So nobody's punching a monkey. That's good to know.
It doesn't. Yeah. I'm like, is it something else in Japanese and it just didn't translate? I don't know.
I was just prepared for you to say and then he decided, he hated the stuffed monkey and was punching. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting.
I thought that's where the story was going.
Yeah.
None of this is a segue to the story Tara has to tell us, but we're going to let you go with it, Tara. Terrible segue there.
Yes.
Have at it.
Well, speaking of testing on animals and products and things like that, I was actually at the chiropractor today, and she's around our age, so we were talking about menopause and symptoms, and something else came up, and she mentioned the yam cream, Colleen, and she said years ago she used to suggest that her patients in perimenopause try the yam cream. Now at the time she was younger, and so she wasn't using it, and so she's like, well, now I'm here, so maybe I should buy it, try it myself. And then I said, I have a friend.
Funny enough.
And then we both kind of chuckled because we said that anybody will try anything to look younger or anything to stay thin.
Yeah.
Or
just feel a little better in
the prime age group of all of their targeted marketing. So we just
with the targeted marketing. I listened to another podcast recently, and the little catchphrase that they used to advertise the podcast was, there are so many businesses dedicated to making women hate their bodies. So if you think of all the things that they're trying to sell us, it's because this isn't right and that isn't right, that sometimes I question whether certain things actually do bother me or not, or if I'm just supposed to be aggravated by them.
That is really interesting. Yeah. it's kind of like conditioning. I guess the job of a good marketer is to condition its audience, right? So how much are we, and actually I was sitting at a bar having a glass of wine with my husband a couple weeks ago, and this woman who was obviously around our age, I didn't ask her age, but she looked to be around our age. She made a comment about the age group that we're in, and she said something like, but we look a lot better than the generations before us at this age. And we kind of got into a little conversation about, well, is that because we are looking better naturally, or because we're just doing so much more because of all the pressures to keep up? So, but that's a good point. And I mean, I think marketing has so much to do with that. How much would we care if we weren't constantly being compared to this person or that person, or being told that our skin on our neck shouldn't sag, or do the turkey neck thing? I don't even know what we call that. It's not sagging. It's just, well, that's how I describe it.
Well, it's so much harder now too,
What
because
was it? Oh, go ahead, Erin.
it's just so much harder now with social media. We're just bombarded. I mean,
Mhm.
in the past, you might see it in magazines or on TV or wherever, but billboards but now it's just like constant, a constant stream of, oh, you should now feel really badly about this about yourself.
That is the message. Obviously, they're making it. Well, actually, I used to work in the medical and dental industry, and I never really thought about this in context, but one of the things that we were always told we had a marketing agency that we spent exuberant amounts of money with to develop ad campaigns with us, and we would basically do an annual campaign, and every year we'd revisit it, and how much did we want to spend and what was the focus. And the absolute focus for that practice was always what they called problem-based marketing. So you pick a prevalent problem, and in that practice it was dental, so you would pick a dental problem and you would market to it. So the idea was that it would hit home because someone was already somewhat self-conscious about it, and it would encourage them to put money toward the solution. So it is kind of sad. I mean, I guess that's realism. That's how things work. But I think that's where we all got to where we are. We're a little, I think, maybe more stressed about things than our mothers and grandmothers were, because they were a little allowed to age a little more gracefully than we are. Oh, interesting. But I do thank you, Tara, and your chiropractor for making me feel less crazy about the yam cream, because
I
it's
didn't ask though. Refresh my memory on what you thought the yam cream was going to do, because I'm curious. Because my chiropractor told, I just wonder if you have the same.
I mean, it promised everything. It promised everything from joint issues to just overall feeling better. And I mean,
Did it explain the why? Like why it would potentially do those things?
Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what it says now. So talk about
Because,
yourself.
well, she told me, before we get started, I wonder if she was right. She said you rub the cream in and you do it on a different spot every day. And the yams are supposed to
the wild
mimic
yams,
whatever hormone you are lacking in. And so because your hormones fluctuate, it mimics what you're missing. So if you need more estrogen or more progesterone or whatever you need, it will kick into gear and produce that for your body.
Yeah, so the description on the exact product that I bought says, estrogen free, our organic wild yam ointment is suitable for menopause and people still with their menstrual periods, to relieve menopausal hot flashes, emotional instability, and motivational surges. Our cream contains wild yam root, red clover extract, and soy isoflavones. Yum. So it says it was going to help deal with hot flashes, which I didn't have yet. I don't have yet, but night sweats and other symptoms during menopause and perimenopause. Balance oily skin, soothe sensitive skin, make your skin look healthier and younger. I mean, it promises everything. So, I mean,
it's the cure-all.
Why not try it? That was my idea, but I really don't think it did.
It doesn't explain the why. She said to me that the reason it helps is because it can mimic whatever your hormone you are lacking. I don't know how yam cream does that, but she said that that's why she used to recommend it, or at least she had read an article when it first came out. She goes, now I haven't used it. I used to refer people to use it.
So here's the big question in my brain. It could be effective, but when you're buying it, how do you know that it's authentic or it's, I don't know when I'm buying it from someone on Amazon if it's, like I said, this stuff, it could be a melted candle and I have no idea. How would I know if it's actually yammered? I'm believing somebody who's selling this stuff and it doesn't have to be FDA approved, tested.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's where I get upset with our whole system. How can you sell stuff with promises of something without having to validate your product? And we're all victims of that. Like, we have no idea what we're buying.
And it's hard to even believe reviews. If I always go on and I try to do my research and and then you find, okay, half of these reviews are bots or and I feel like I've sort of gotten good at kind of recognizing when it's not a real person. But it's like the freaking Wild West. You're trying, and
I think
you're just
conversations like these, right? Like, I know I started using mushroom coffee because Colleen started using it. And I was like, we're similar. We have some, similar qualities that we're looking for something to happen that we both want to happen. And it's hard sometimes because like the people that I might follow on social media are 25 years old.
Yeah.
And they're not in the same stage of life. They do something completely different than what I do for a living. But some things, like occasionally I'll kind of keep track of things that I'm interested in. And then if Finn, my husband, also finds that he's interested in something, we'll kind of compare our algorithms. Like, we look for very different things. But I always try to have at least one person that I personally know before I try something new.
Well, and that leads to the crazy conversations that we have. And I think I shared one with you guys off the record, so I'm going to bring it here and you guys can tell us all about the crazy things you've also heard about. But I had a woman tell me recently, and this was news to me, that she pays someone to inject salmon sperm into her face. And I was just blown away. That was new to me. Like, I've heard of Botox, I've heard of fillers, but now we're taking sperm from fish and throwing it under our skin. What the hell is happening? And how much are we paying for that? So anyway, I think I did
probably a lot.
That night. I think I Googled it that night, and not the salmon sperm alone, but the average woman of our age group, of our demographic in the US spends, what did I tell you guys, like $6,000 something a year on skin care and procedures. Woo! My $12 yam cream was like a drop in the little bucket. So that's my question.
That I moved away from my hairdresser that I've had my entire life that makes me pay like $15 to have my hair cut. And I'm like, I can't go spend hundreds of dollars.
That's crazy.
I don't know how to do it. There's no right way. There's no good path, I think, other than just opening up these conversations to everybody and welcoming other people to come in and be like, what else have you tried? And like, I do that at work, and some people that I work with are similar in age. Some are younger, some are older.
Okay, but can anybody, I'm still troubled by the salmon sperm. Like, we do need to move on. But has anybody figured out how they actually collect the salmon sperm? Because I'm stuck on that.
And who was the first person to do it? And how? Like, was it an accident somehow and it landed on them and they said, oh, now look, that spot of my face happens to now be wrinkle free. Like, how?
Will any sperm work? I mean,
right. Is it just salmon? Is it like,
there's so many jokes in here.
There's so many one-liners. So many men listening to this are like, I'll give you something that you can try.
Seriously.
Seriously.
And it also claims
you gotta be a fish.
Purified DNA from salmon sperm. So not just the straight salmon sperm, but purified DNA from the sperm is used to boost collagen, hydration, and accelerate skin healing. But to your point, I think it is a Korean-inspired trend.
Okay. I still want to know how they're like. I know how. How are they getting it?
Have you seen the movie The Shape of Water?
No.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
he'll be back.
What
It's
happened?
a woman who falls in love with a fish man.
Oh,
What happened to
so maybe
Tara?
maybe she's
Very
I'm
artsy.
having technical difficulties.
So
don't
we
worry.
laughed.
She's
For those
she's
listening,
going to do a long
Tara
dive into
disappeared.
how the sperm are collected.
Yeah.
She'll be back. Oh god. Okay, so the
Oh,
shape
God.
of water.
The Shape of Water, yes. A woman falls in love with a fish man.
Is that similar to a
collected
mermaid,
the
but
sperm?
a man?
A merman. No, he was more fish than man.
Okay.
Oh. Oh.
All right. Interesting.
So,
Okay, so
yeah,
what other
but-
crazy things have people heard of people doing other than salmon sperm under the skin?
I think
so.
Erin had a
I have.
story.
I do. I have something to show. So this is not
right.
a
So
cream. It's
intelligent.
not a face thing. I went the route of what have I tried that seems crazy or makes you go really, but
Okay.
it actually makes me feel good. So this is for like sore muscles or like achy necks and things like that, which is something I had suffered with for quite a while. So I don't know if showing this if it's going to translate really well, and I'll describe it for our listeners too. Can you see that?
Okay.
I can. Is
So
it a
this is
phone
an
line?
this is the neck portion of this whole system here, and then there's a mat too.
System.
So these are acupressure
Oh.
mats.
Oh.
So it's
Okay.
it's
Yep.
like probably I don't know 2 feet long, and then this part is just the neck pillow, but it has these spikes on it. So anyone listening, it's
Wow.
got these really kind of scary looking spikes.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you lay on it, you put the neck part on your neck, and at first you're like, ow, because it feels like a medieval torture device. And so I would say you maybe have to have a little bit of pain tolerance, but it's not painful.
Mhm.
It's more just like uncomfortable, and you're like, oh, I want to move, but it's not really stabbing you. It's nothing like that. But what it does is it stimulates circulation, blood flow. It releases endorphins.
Mhm.
And 5 minutes into, or not even into laying on this thing, all of a sudden you just go, oh, and your whole body just relaxes
Oh.
and you start to feel warm. It's great to do actually before bed because you get into bed and you just kind of like melt into sleep.
We're
And,
all Googling it right now. No.
Yeah, it was, and and they're not very expensive, not at all. I can't
So it's
remember
kind of
now
like
how
at home acupuncture. I mean, without needles, but kind of the
Sort
same
of.
idea.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, they're not needles that are going into your skin.
No.
They're
No,
like
right.
little rubber, little just pointy,
Prong
Like a
things.
just
brush.
laying on like little, yeah,
Oh,
like a
a
real
hair
pointy
brush.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Sort of, yeah.
I would try that.
So if you're somebody who just can't manage any kind of discomfort on your skin or anything like that, it's probably not for you. But you definitely do kind of very quickly get over that hump of feeling uncomfortable, and then this nice calmness and the tension just kind of evaporates.
How long do you lay on it at a time?
I've done I've laid on it and put on a meditation. I listen to a lot of like sound baths and stuff like that, and I've put on a 20 or 30 minute
Wow.
meditation, and yeah. And then, I've found that then I reach a point where I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like you start to
Had
get
enough.
a little like,
How often do you do it? Because I bought something like that. I bought not the neck portion, but just the mat for Jeff, my boyfriend, for Christmas, and it's buried in a closet. And so as soon as you pulled it out, I was like, why am I not using that? How frequently do you use it?
Definitely not every night. Sometimes I forget that I have it because, as we're talking about all the things we've tried, I'm thinking of, I have a million things. Like I feel sometimes like, I've accumulated too many things that then I don't have time to use them, or I forget I use them. But
we get desperate. So
yeah. But you could use it every day.
Mhm.
But
and actually, Erin, that's a great segue, because I was going to say, like, as we were trying to come up for this episode of like, what do we feel like is working for us? I could tell you a whole host of things that I've bought. I don't stick with them. I don't know, maybe I'm impatient. I know I'm impatient, but like, I try something for a couple weeks and then just kind of falls by the wayside. So I was really struggling to find something that I could say that's working for me. But Lisa, you just said something about your hairdresser. So, and I can remember having a conversation with Lisa, this was many years ago, and she was talking about embracing the gray hair as it comes in. And I've also made that decision. So I've been working with my hairdresser to do gray blending. And it's tough, because if you have a fully dyed head of hair, like you kind of got to just work through this uncomfortableness of like, oh my God, it just looks like, like a rainbow to myself. I'm sure not to anybody else, but like now the gray hairs are showing and I'm like, you know what? I don't mind this. It's not too bad.
Here you go, girl.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for it. I want it to happen. It doesn't always happen, but I pulled one off my sweatshirt earlier and I was like, oh, why doesn't it stay?
Congratulations. That's funny.
Has anyone experienced the gray eyebrow hairs yet?
Yes. Yeah. I get a couple of those here and there.
I have one.
Oh, and I go
just pluck it.
I refuse to pull it out because I feel like my eyebrows are thinning, and so I just I keep putting tint. I keep trying to tint trying to save the one hair. I feel like they're thinning already. I don't bring tweezers near them anymore. To think for so many years I couldn't go out of the house without the tweezers, and now I'm trying to avoid the tweezers at all costs. I do not want to remove any hair.
Yeah.
The thing that I found though with those little ones, I found maybe two, like the white ones, but the texture is different. So I think that drives me nuts just as much as the color. So I get that thing the hell out of there. It just doesn't belong. But and Megan, to your point about the hair, I think that's my problem with letting my hair grow out too, is I like the texture so much better after I color it. My gray hair texture to me feels dry and kind of like, I don't know, not the same. And
I have heard that.
I'm like, oh, my hair is
wiry.
softer now. Yeah, wiry.
Yeah.
That's a good word. So that's my other concern with letting it grow out. It just doesn't feel right to me, but I do want to get to the point where I feel comfortable with it too. So you'll have to update us on that journey.
So far, the texture of it has been the same, but I have heard that, and I don't know if it's just a matter of like, well, once it grows in more, all of a sudden I'm going to be dealing with something that I don't love. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean,
I think I was just really kind of like selfishly trying to avoid being like going to the hairdresser and having my whole head dyed. And then, within a couple of days, now I've got like this centimeter of like white along. That would annoy me more than having gray hair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, we also had a mother in our group that went gray, Mia's mom. And I always thought her hair was so gorgeous and
beautiful.
She was always gray. So I would love to have that experience, but I just I don't know. I haven't felt like it's my time yet. But I don't know if this is we have to kind of wrap it up soon, but I don't know if this is appropriate or not. But one thing has been on my mind since Erin brought her show and tell item, and I think it would be a great topic of discussion for next time. So we don't usually talk about next time before we end, but I think this one could be good. When you talked about your sound bath and things like that, I've been really curious about, I've seen it called neurobalancing, because one of the things that I feel like I'm dealing with more and more as I'm getting into this perimenopause thing is stress and anxiety and just an overall feeling of not being able to relax. Like I'm always worried about something. And I do firmly feel like that's hormonal, because I've read a lot of people dealing with the same thing. And I've seen a lot about neurobalancing exercises and sound baths and somatic yoga and things like that. And I would love to hear about, I know some of you are very progressive. I know, Lisa, you do a lot of yoga type stuff. So if any of you know about that kind of stuff, I'd love to know more about it, but I know we're short on time now.
Yeah, let's definitely do an episode on that, because I've gotten actually into like the bowls that you hear when you're listening to a sound bath, the crystal bowls and the metal bowls. Like I have sets of them. I've gotten really into that, so I'm happy to.
Nice.
Oh, I
us all
have
discuss
a
that.
meditation session coming with Erin can make all the sounds and we can all relax.
I know nothing
See that
about
in my
this, but I'm desperate for some kind of relaxation that will actually work for me. And I've never really been very open to it before, because I'm a very tense person just in general. I've always had a hard time relaxing. So some of it feels very floofy to me. And I think I'm really going to have to make an effort to like really try at some point for my own well-being and probably for my family's well-being as well, because I'm always on everybody for everything. And it's one thing to know that, and another thing to try to fix it. And I think I'm at that point. So if any of you can help with that, I'd love it.
Well, as a way of wrapping up this episode, that I can wholeheartedly say that listening to sound and frequency and all those types of meditations has really helped me over the last several years, in dealing with stress and all sorts of emotional turmoil and whatnot. So like let's make that the topic of our next.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Erin's given me some great advice in that area.
And you guys have, as you probably already know, you guys are one of my best stress relievers. Talking to you guys always helps, and I'm really grateful for all of you as always.
Same here.
I second that.
All
right. Well,
I guess we're signing off.
Yeah. And friends, if you have something that works for you and you want to share, visit us on social media, get in touch, definitely share. Let the rest of the friends know.
Yeah. Awesome. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.